Welcome to Health Matters. I'm your host, Sunita Mohan. Today we have our show especially just dedicated to Ayurveda. So if your viewers are out there, get your pen and paper together ready, because there's going to be a lot of information that we're going to be giving you today. So we have Renu Chaudhary in studio with us. She's written a book, and her book is called Ayurveda to the Rescue. So you know, everybody knows that Ayurveda is my favorite topic, and so I'm so grateful that you're in studio with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So when you send me an email that you wrote this book, I was like, oh my God, I have to have her on the show, because you know, we go back far back, yes, where we've studied together, and we have the same passion about Ayurveda. So a lot of people ask me, what is Ayurveda? So I know you can't explain it in just a short sentence, but what would you say if somebody asked you that didn't know what it was?
Ayurveda is simply Ayurveda, two words, right. Sanskrit words. The original text was written in Sanskrit in the Vedas. It is holy, ancient Indian scriptures.
Right.
And Ayurveda is partly depicted in those scriptures.
Right.
But Ayurveda existed way before that, thousands of years. Vedas came about to our knowledge about 5,000 years approximately. But Ayurveda has been before that. Right. Ayur means life, Veda means knowledge. So it's simply the knowledge of life.
Knowledge of life.
And it's applicable through and through centuries and centuries even today. So the wisdom is what is contained in there, is to live aligned to the nature.
Yes.
Ayurveda is all about how we live. Today's life is very different.
Right.
The cycles.
And you know, when I found out my body type, it's when my life changed, because that's when I realized that, okay, some of the symptoms that I have to do with my body type, and it was much easier for me to accept some of the symptoms and then, you know, coordinate my life according to that. And then it was very empowering, actually.
Yes.
So now what I'm talking about when we're talking about body types, let's go right into there, because that's the main philosophy that you want to start with, is our body types.
Yes.
So, you know, when people are saying to me, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, they have goals, but our goals are different according to our body.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I always tell, so I'm like you tell me, Vata, Pitta.
You're Vata, Pitta, or Pitta, Vata.
Okay, so the three body types are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha.
Yes, they are just not your body types, they're also your mental types also.
Right.
Right? Because Ayurveda is holistic. It takes into all three parts of you, the body, the mind, and the spirit.
Right.
So you are driven by those traits which your dosha is carrying.
Right.
Right? And these five elements in the nature, which we know is earth, ether, air, fire, earth, and water.
Right.
Everything is made up around those five elements. When these five elements play together, they give rise three bioenergies, and that is what you're talking about, is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha.
Right.
And two elements are in all these three bioenergies, which are predominant. So for example, a Kapha person who is earth and air, earth and water predominant, will always have very difficulty losing weight.
Right.
And especially if they are Kapha predominant, primary dosha, and then they have poor digestive power.
Yes.
You know, then it's a double whammy.
Yep.
It's hard for them. Vata person is air and ether, which is lighter of the five elements.
Right.
So that also drives their personality, it drives their body frame, it drives their spiritual tendencies.
Right.
Everywhere the face the elements will show up their faces.
Right, right.
So that's very important to know, that everybody, according to Ayurveda, is not same.
Yes.
Even two Vata predominant people will not be same, because then it gets a little more intricate and very definitive, where we consider what are the gunas, which is the 10 pairs of opposite forces, and that's like heavy, light, cloudy, clear. All these 10 qualities, they're very much in my book. I have explained all the basic principles of the elements, of the doshas, of the taste. Taste also have You're talking about nutrition
we're going
today.
to talk about taste, and we're going to talk about spices.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people always ask me, you know, what book should I read? Something that's easy. So I find that this is a book that I can recommend that people can read and get the knowledge of Ayurveda. So,
it's written for a modern man.
Yes.
The way we live today.
We live now.
Yes, yeah.
So
that's
now
what I have tried.
I apply a lot of the Ayurvedic principles in my life, and where I tend to use it is in nutrition, because I'm a nutritionist, and as a homeopath, I also understand where each person is different.
Yes.
So when people are struggling for something, you know, you can't be like a Vata when you're a Kapha. You can't. There's no way that's going to happen.
That's the beauty about this science and this knowledge. The applicability is that it makes you accept yourself a little more.
Yes.
Because there's no certain way your doshas are driving you. All those elements, they make you who you are in every 3 aspects. So you have to be compassionate. A fiery person who is Pitta predominant, they will lose their patience. You're standing in the line, and
they're the Pitta people.
You know,
they're like Pitta.
You don't want to be stuck behind a Vata person or a Pitta person, because they will tell you what they feel right at that time, and it's hard, you know. But Kapha person can be laid back. So if you are a Vata person and a Kapha person is next to you, you'll have a heck of a time, because Vata cannot just sit still.
Yes.
It's ether and air. It follows everywhere.
Yes.
How they think, how they contain knowledge, how they express themselves. They'll be talking more. A Kapha person, you cannot get edgewise, because they are just like solid earth and water. Both
okay,
are heavy.
So now that we've got the 3 types,
yes.
Now what we're going to do is go more into how do we bring that into our daily lives, right? So we're going to talk about grains, we're going to talk about digestion, we're going to talk about diabetic diet, and how we can bring all these principles into our food and our daily lives. So we're going to take a little break, because we only have a few seconds left, and then we're going to talk about grains is the main thing that I want to talk about, because that's what everybody struggles with, is grains and carbs.
Yes, which one is good, which one is not so good.
Yes.
Yes.
So right after this break, we'll be coming right back. This is Health Matters. I'm your host, Anita Mohan. So you can call Soham Wellness Place in Brampton, Ontario, 905-799-0064 or 416-841-3488 at www.ayurvedasoham.com. Welcome back. I'm your host, Anita Mohan. This is Health Matters. Our special today is focusing on Ayurveda. And we have Renu Chaudhary in studio talking about her book, Ayurveda to the Rescue. That's what I call it, to the rescue. So let's talk about Ayurveda and how we can apply it to our daily life. So we're talking, I like to talk a lot about detox because spring is coming. So I have mung beans here. So I think this is something that's very cheap, and people can start sprouting them.
Very simply,
right?
Yes.
And people can start making lentils out of them, cooking them like lentils.
Like soups,
and like a lentil soup, and actually using it for weight loss.
Correct.
So if we do this for 4 days and just eat this for 4 days.
Rice and moong dal, make a khichdi and put little ginger in there, a little rock salt. It's all, and cumin seeds, it's all you need. You can detox by going on mono diet. I recommend mono diet sometimes. Just take one thing and simply do it twice a day. And you have the energy, you have the nourishment, you're not lacking, but you're not putting all sorts of different kind of foods. Right. So you're simplifying. You know.
And I remember when I did the Dr. Oz show, actually, that's what we talked about, and we actually cooked it and had him taste it and say that, you know, 3 to 4 days, if people, I mean, do you think the first day people will have cravings, or is it easy?
They can, because the body is detoxing. They're used to putting so much bulk, especially carbohydrate and proteins. And this has very subtle way of fiber, carbohydrate, protein, everything.
Right.
It's like a powerhouse, right? Khichdi can be every day. You can put little different vegetables when you're having it on another time.
Right.
But if you're using it for cleansing, keep it very simple.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
So another thing I new discovery of mine is my chia seeds. So in Ayurveda, I was surprised that you say that it's good for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So tell me some of the properties of chia seeds.
Chia seeds are hygroscopic. That means it can absorb 10 times more water than their own weight.
Okay.
So that is an excellent internal moisturizer for people, especially who are lacking in drinking water.
Right.
It is mucilaginous, so it will suck all kind of toxins and like a glue. It'll
Right.
attract, it'll do, and it cleans it because it's very slimy.
Yeah.
When you talk about soaking it and having it raw, when you soak it, it expands. It becomes those fuzzy, yellow, gelatinous
Yeah.
portion. And when you put that in the
Into
body,
your body,
in the GI, it absorbs the toxins from everywhere it's going. Plus, it makes the psyllium is a little harder on the body, but chia seeds are softer.
So it's softer.
Yes, and it creates the bowel also.
So
which is
how many spoons do you think we should have in a
you
day?
can
like
have up to 2 tablespoons a day.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
So this is a good way to.
You can have it as it is. You don't need to process in any way. You can soak it. I like it myself soaked it because it has, little easier to digest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stick in your teeth. Sometimes it goes inside the teeth because they are raw and they're very small.
And you can look it up on the internet. There's so many recipes.
It's a mint family actually.
Right.
It comes from mint family, and it's a very good source of omega.
Right.
And it moisturizes your body inside out. It cures
And it's
constipation.
tasteless. It's not like
it is. No,
it doesn't taste like anything that's going to
It doesn't change your food what you're
Yes,
putting it into.
exactly.
In oats, it's great to have it in oats. In yogurt, you can have it in yogurt. You can have it in smoothies.
Yeah.
You can have it in buttermilk. Any which way.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we want to add to our grocery list.
Yes.
Is that. So I want to also talk about digestion. Because now our society is very geared towards grains. And there are good grains and there are bad grains.
Yes.
Now, most people start their day with some coffee or some toast with, peanut butter and jelly is what I hear a lot of the time, or bagel with cream cheese. What do you think of that kind of breakfast? Like, what is that creating in our body when we start our day like that? Because that's the way we're fueling. Majority of us are fueling our body that way.
It's. I don't consider them as breakfast.
That's
You're
not a
talking
breakfast
to
food.
an Ayurvedic therapist. So
What does that
too
do
much
to your
carb.
body?
It just. In the morning, you're hungry.
Right.
Breaking fast. You're breaking the fast from the night where you had your last meal.
Yes.
Around about, let's say, 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours before you have the second meal in the morning. Breaking fast is very important to have the right thing at that time and have a little protein at that time because it'll take you through the morning,
Right.
through the hunger pangs. If you take carbohydrate, it'll give you that energy,
Yes.
but then you have that downside. By 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you're hungry again.
Yes.
So it's not sustainable, okay? And I recommend seed butters. You can have a quinoa toast. Quinoa is a better grain. It's a gluten-free grain. It's having a dairy-free morning meal. You can have oats with almond milk.
Right.
And instead of dairy product, you can
And then
buy
you can have the chia seeds with fruits.
Absolutely, you can have chia seeds. You can spice. I see a little bit of cinnamon. I have clove. You have black pepper. You can spice up your oatmeal in the morning. Oats are great at this time of cleansing time because oats are easy to digest. They are gluten-free oats available in the market. At Bulk Barn, I think I saw it says just oats, wheat-free.
Okay.
So steel-grained, steel-cut oats. They're
Right.
excellent for that. You can add a little fruit to it. You can add a little spicy to it, and it's a potion for digestion, beautiful digestion, because Ayurveda propagates 6 tastes.
Right.
Sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent.
Right.
A lot of people don't know what astringent is. I had a quiz last time in one of the shows, and I gave a test to people to take back so that they can win the book.
Right.
And I got only one person up to 5 tastes, but
Right.
he couldn't get the 6 taste. So astringent is also a very good taste to add in your diet. Bitter is a very good taste to add in your diet. And I recommend, it's on my website, fenugreek seeds. I make
Right.
sprouts out of them.
So
It's
what would you
very-
use that for?
Everywhere. You can put it on an omelette. You can put it in your salad. You can put it in your fruit. It adds bitter is very strong taste, but you don't need too much of it.
You don't need too much. And
Yes,
it'll
and it
give
will
that oomph.
in the sprout state. It is 250 times more potent,
Right.
and it just energy-wise, it just gives you that without the heaviness. It will
So
not
you
bother
want to
down.
have the taste so you won't have cravings? Is that why we
Absolutely.
want
That's
them?
the trick of Ayurveda cooking, because
Okay.
if you don't have the know-how how many tastes are there, you will not be able to put them in your diet.
Yeah.
And so you will be always constantly nutritionally deficient.
Yes, and then you'll be craving
Correct.
craving more
but
and more
there are
things.
good cravings and bad cravings in Ayurveda. The good cravings is body's own inner intelligence
Right.
trying to balance. But the
So I
bad
think that's what
craving
we're
is-
going to talk about right after this break.
Absolutely.
So we'll be right back. I'm your host, Sunita Mohan. This is Health Matters. Soham Wellness Place in Brampton, Ontario. Phone number 905-799-0064 or 416-841-3488. Website www.ayurvedasoham.com. Welcome back to Health Matters. I'm your host, Sunita Mohan, and we have a special today. We're talking about my favorite topic, which is Ayurveda. And we have Renu Chaudhary in studio with us, who he has a new book out, Ayurveda to the Rescue. So I'm very proud and very honored to have her in studio. So we talked about 6 tastes, and I know my viewers are going to say, what are the 6 tastes? And give us samples of it, because nobody's going to know. So let's talk about bitter. So give me an example of bitter that we have here.
We have fenugreek sprouts. So fenugreek is bitter.
Okay, that's bitter.
It's bitter green, bitter seeds. You
Okay.
can add them in your diet any which way you want.
Okay, so this is bitter. Okay, so what about...
Aragola is bitter.
Okay.
Dandelion is bitter.
Okay, sweet.
We have, yes, this is bitter and sour, both.
Okay, so
Okay.
lime
Yeah.
is a good thing. So this is things that you want to add to your grocery list is lime.
Yes.
And I also recommend that you do hot water with lime and honey
Yes.
in the morning as part of your detox.
Yes.
Okay, so
You
next.
can have ginger root.
So
which
ginger is
pungent,
another thing that we
pungent.
want in our grocery.
Yes, absolutely.
And because it's pungent?
I don't leave home without it.
Okay. So we have pungent and we have
Yes.
sour.
And this is sour and bitter.
And
This
bitter.
is also bitter. This is beans are astringent.
Okay. So the astringent is the one that people don't get.
Yes.
So the beans are astringent.
All the beans, all the greens are astringent.
Okay.
All the meats are astringent. And this is a potion, this is fresh turmeric, believe it or not. And it is pungent, it is bitter, it is astringent. It's a lot of nutrition value there. And
then salt.
Yes,
We have our,
rock salt.
So this is the salt that I buy. So what do you think of that one?
Himalayan is great, it's top.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find that it's very salty. You don't need a lot of it
No,
when you put it on your
yeah,
food.
yeah,
So that's a good
yeah.
salt.
It's a mineral salt, so it has minerals in there also, compared to table salts. Also, I want to mention one fruit which I couldn't find it. It was not available, unfortunately. It's called amla. It is
Okay.
in my book. I have discussed it in under. This is amla.
So the green
Yes.
part. Okay.
I don't know whether you can
Yeah,
see
you
or
probably
not.
can't see it.
But there's a lovely 2 pictures in my book. And it is, I talked about 6 tastes, and this is the miracle of God, because this fruit has 5 tastes out of 6.
Right.
So it is one of the most balanced
Yeah, right
fruit ever you can purchase for the money's worth. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you get it in regular stores, or do you have to go to the South Asian?
South Asian Indian store, as far as I know. It hasn't
Okay.
made it mainstream yet, but you can juice it. You need very little of it, because it has all 5 tastes in it.
Okay.
It's very potent. Yes.
Right. So there we go. That's how you get the taste. And I think the taste in Ayurveda, you get a lot from spices.
Yes, spices. Food is gross nutrition. I always say spices and herbs herbs are micronutrition.
Right.
They go hand in hand. You cannot separate them because it makes the food which is non-digestible into digestible foods.
Exactly.
For a lot of people, especially Vata people, they
Yes.
always have, you know, problem in digesting beans and astringent taste because
So
it's
what are some of the things
antagonistic.
that we have here that would help digestion? Would be like
Clove is
cloves?
good. Black pepper is good.
Yeah.
And you have cardamom is very good. Cinnamon, little bit of cinnamon in a hot water after having a heavy meal. It's excellent for the heart. It's excellent for thinning your blood naturally, and so does cardamom. It enhances. It's an aromatic herb and spice. It's a natural blood thinner, believe it or not. You can chew on it. It's a mouth freshener.
And it tastes so good.
I love it.
It's so beautiful. I love it.
It's great for desserts. You can put it in your baking. You can grind it. You can put it in your porridge. It's excellent.
So digestion is very important, and I know
Absolutely.
the key to Ayurveda and the key to our health, because what goes in has to digest and has to go out.
You know, Ayurveda,
and somewhere it gets stuck.
Ayurveda doesn't say you are what you eat.
Yes.
Ayurveda goes further down and it says you are what you absorb.
Yes. And what you eliminate.
It's not, you can eat all the great things, but if your digestive fire is weak and you're not absorbing anything out of it good, it's useless. So how to increase the absorbability has to go hand in hand with what nutrition you're going to put in there.
And you know, this kind of digestive aids can be applied to any kind of cooking.
Anywhere, anything. You just have to know the energetics of the thing. So that's why the beauty of Ayurveda is it is alive today, as fresh as it was born thousands of years ago, because the wisdom applies to the what you get available locally.
Right.
You can apply the taste, because those tastes are everywhere. You just have to know how to feel them, how to know what is salty, what is difficult. One is astringent, and you know, that's a really tricky one for people.
Right.
How do we get astringent? But it's very simple. All the greens are astringent. All the beans are astringent.
All the beans and grains.
Smaller the bean, easier it cooks, easier it digests. So longer something takes for cooking. That's another principle Ayurveda propagates, is it is difficult for the GI. To digest. So remember that kidney beans are worse than pinto beans. So if you had to go have beans, have pinto beans, Romano beans, which are a lot easier. Black-eyed beans.
Faster they cook.
Faster they cook, faster they get digested
in your body.
Let's remember, and faster they get out, eliminated, easier on your system. You don't make toxins out of it. More red meat, more heavy meals at different wrong times will give you more toxins in the body, because the food putrefies.
Yes.
In it goes, out it goes. So you have to have spices to increase the digestibility, absorbability, assimilation increased. So have fruits.
So otherwise you'll be farting.
Them.
You'll be
people are burping and farting.
Farting is what you'll be doing.
Yes.
So that's why people don't want to eat beans, because of that. But then
but if you add ginger, if I make beans, you have it guaranteed.
There'll be
you
no
will not be
flatulence.
farting. No. No.
So yes, that's the key.
The trick is ginger.
The trick is ginger.
Trick is ginger. Make friends with it. It is. If I had my way, it'll be selling a lot more expensive than it is. It's unfortunate what it is. So beautiful herb, and so healing herb, and it sells for 99 cents a pound.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good. It's easily accessible, and that's what you should add. I think it should be in your kitchen and in your fridge.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for being on the show, Renu.
Absolutely.
And I think the time went so quickly, but I think we got some good information out there. And thank you for joining me. This is Health Matters. I'm your host, Sunita Mohan.